So to help you write effective and good opinion essays, let's take a look at some effective vocabulary to increase your academic English style. There is a part in the book, I think, on page, what? Page 110. When you are talking or when you are writing about an opinion, there might be some instances that you want to focus on positive changes. So let's say vocabulary about positive changes. Let's study these one by one, because there are some really nice, useful, and effective vocabulary here. For example, foster. That's also we are looking at, these are verbs mostly, I think. I think they are all verbs. So foster is a verb about positive changes. To understand it, let's take a look at a dictionary. There is a good dictionary called dictionary.com. When you write a definition here, for example, foster, we are looking at the verb, okay? It is used with with an object. So after foster, there is an object. Foster is something. Okay. So this dictionary is pretty good, actually. So this is a verb. You can also listen to the pronunciation. Foster. So what does it mean? To promote, to bring up, to promote the growth or development of something, to encourage. So when you are talking about, for example, uniforms, you can say uniforms, foster. So foster means to promote the growth of something, to encourage something. Let's do an example, understand better. So we are looking at positive changes. If you think about uniforms, for example, okay, a school uniform. Now, a school uniform promotes the growth of what? A school uniform encourages what? A school uniform fosters equality among students. What does this mean? So when you use this word, foster, it means a school uniform encourages equality among students. A school uniform promotes the growth of equality among students. Of course, you need to explain this after you write an opinion, you have to explain it. For example, you can say a school uniform fosters equality among students when everyone wears a uniform. There are no rich students and there are no poor students. So everyone is equal. Do you understand the word foster? I hope so. Let's make one more example. Think about calcium. Calcium fosters bone strength. When you eat food with calcium in it, people believe that your bones become stronger. So you can say that calcium encourages bone strength. Calcium fosters bone strength, right? So that's a nice word to learn. And this word is about a positive change. When you talk about positive changes, not negative changes. I think we know the word support before. So, but again, you need an object with the word support. Means after the word support, you need an object. One example is this: how can you support your opinion? So in writing, especially, or in speaking, when you have an opinion, you have to support this opinion. You have to support it with maybe examples or specific explanations. So easy. I mean, you have studied it before, but this is the first time I think you see the word. And it's very useful, very effective. Encourage. Encourage. If you think about the word encourage, it is like support, right? So you can, use this word instead of this word. Encourage something. For example, a uniform at school could encourage a shy student to socialize more easily. So encourage something or encourage someone. Nice words to use in writing or in speaking to show that you can use academic level English. And these are all about positive changes. What about advance? Advance is also about a positive change. To advance something means to take something to a more improved state. When you advance something, it means it becomes better. It becomes more, complicated. For example, you can advance your English uh, advance your writing skills. How? By practicing what? So advance is about a positive change. Okay, so some nice words. Maybe you can start using the word foster. You can start using the word encourage, advance. If we have positive changes, of course, we might have negative changes. What are negative changes? Or how do you express a negative change? So we should think about the opposite of foster. What is the opposite of foster? Hinder. Is that a new word for you? Have you heard this word before? So foster is a positive change, and the negative is hinder. Of course, you need something after this. So if you think about the definition, if foster means to promote the growth of something, to hinder means to stop the growth of something or to slow down the growth of something. If foster means to encourage something, hinder means to discourage something. So it means to slow down the growth of something. Okay, think about this question. What hinders success? What hinders success? Laziness, yeah. So laziness, if you are a lazy person, this quality slows down your growth on the way to success, or maybe it stops. Okay. Another example can be sitting in a chair all day. Sitting in a chair all day hinders what? Hinders muscle growth. Right? So that's a nice vocabulary to learn as well. If you look at the second list here, what other words that you see which you don't know? So hinder is a new one, I think. Hinder is very similar to discourage. So we can say sitting in a chair all day discourages muscle growth. So you can use them in the same way. Laziness discourages, maybe not here, but prevents. So if you are talking about a negative change, I'm trying to find a negative change about. you think about, for example, stress in a person's life, stress prevents the ability to enjoy life. Yeah, that's a negative change. So it stops a person to be able to enjoy life. Let's take a look at one more here, relationships. Something about relationships. If you want to focus on relationships, you can talk about influence. How to use this word? Let's look at relationships. Influence. For influence, you need a person, someone. What does that mean, though? To influence someone means to have an effect on someone. It can also be used with something. Imagine your brother and he was a successful student. Imagine or maybe he had a successful marriage, happy marriage. Um, influence me in a negative way, in a positive way, let's say. And then you can explain, of course, what's happened to you. So remember, imagine that you have a brother and he was a successful student at school. His success has influenced you in a positive way. So after influence, there is a person. And then you can explain what happens, what are these positive ways. The word influence can be also used as a noun. So this is the verb form, for example. But if you think about an influence, so this is a noun, is an effect. Um, let's say you are describing your feelings about an accident, let's say, the accident, and a strong influence on what? So we can use it with the preposition on. Something or someone. So the accident had a strong influence on my brother's driving habits. So it means your brother's driving habits changed after this accident. So I think it is a good idea to start using some of these vocabulary in your writing, in your speaking. I'm looking at, some new things here. Maybe the word alter. When you read academic articles, when you read essays, you see this word often, and you can start using it as well. What is to alter? Again, we need an object. Does anybody know the word alter? It is another word. It is more academic word, which means to change or to modify something. Let's take a look at this dictionary one more time so that you remember. Alter. It is used with an object. To make different, to make something different in some particular, for example, to change the size, the style, to change the course, to change, to modify something. When you go to the college, you see some students alter their hands, legs, to suit their taste. They change their pants legs. They make it skinnier, tighter. They modify. So alter is a nice word to learn as well. Another example, altering your lifestyle could increase your level of happiness. This means if you change your lifestyle, if you are an unhappy person, and if you change it, you might become happier. So altering your lifestyle could increase your level of happiness. One more. You can easily lose weight, for example. You can easily lose weight by altering what you eat or how much you eat. So another nice word to understand and learn. What else is there? React, to persuade, convince. Do you know these words? Results, produce, result, and bring about. Actually, maybe let's take a look at this last one because this is about effects, causes and effects. When you focus on results, for example, when you are speaking about results, and if you don't want to repeat a word again, again, there are many different ways. For example, produce. Let's write a sentence. Think about hard work. What is the result of hard work? Success. Right? So hard work, for example, let's say results in success. So instead of results in, what other words can you use? Let's change it and write it in different ways. Hard work results in success. Hard work creates success. Hard work brings about success. If you look at this list here, you can see hard work produces success, for example. These sentences all mean the same with different vocabulary. It is a good idea to learn different ways to say the same thing because in writing or in speaking, it is not a good idea to repeat the same thing. Hard work brings about results in, creates, proves. So results in, creates, brings about, produces. One more, let's write one more. Hard work leads to success. It's a good idea to, start using some of these. Gentlemen, today, so let's see what we have done so far. We talked about what is an opinion essay, and we said what you need to write an opinion. Of course, you need an opinion to start writing. When you have an opinion, you should think about the topic, for example. These questions can help you to form, strong opinions and the ways to support your opinions. So when there is a topic, it is a good idea to think about these questions. After that, we looked at some useful words to learn. We talked about controversy, an argument, a counter-argument, what is a refutation, because these words will be commonly used in this unit, so we should understand them. After that, we said, let's say this is our writing task. You have to wear a uniform when you go to the college. What is your opinion on this? Okay, so to think about this task, actually you should think about these questions. These questions will help you write more effectively. After that, we focused on controversial issues. So here are some controversial issues. And when you are writing an opinion essay, you need an argument. Of course, you need to think about the counter argument as well. How to get ready, take a side and understand the issue. And then we are looking at some effective vocabulary on different ways. I want to focus on one more part together today, and it is the big problem, the hook. Actually, we are going to look at different ways to write a hook. different ways to write a strong hook. We don't need a hook, we need a strong and effective hook. This is mentioned also in your book on page, what is this page again? Page 110 in the Opnion organization. We are going to study this organization later in detail, but if you look at the introduction, the book mentions the hook, and then it explains a little more. So this is the first time. And it says the hook may be an anecdote. I don't know, maybe this is a new word. It could be a question, a surprising statement, etc., or a fact that makes the reader want to know more. Let's look at some ways to write effective, strong hooks. One way is, an interesting question. Now, imagine your topic, let's say the topic is uniforms. Right? You might want to start your introduction with a question, an interesting question. But the problem with a question is, when you ask a question in the hook, you must answer this question at the end. The reader must, the reader will want to read your essay to answer this question, to find an answer to this question. So you must have an interesting question. For example, a simple, interesting question about uniforms. Do we really need uniforms in schools? So this hook makes the reader think, and it makes the reader want to continue reading to find an answer to this question. At the end of or during the essay, the reader will understand your opinion on this. Okay, another hook, for example, with a question about uniforms. So this is our topic. Let me just say a few things about it. An interesting question to catch the reader's attention. The reader must continue to read the essay to find an answer to the question. And the writer, of course, has a job now. The writer has to answer the question in the essay. So you cannot just ask any question. It must be an interesting question. Also, it must be a question that you will answer in the essay. So if you ask this question, do we really need school uniforms? When I read this, I must understand your opinion. You think, yes, we do need uniforms. Or you think, no, we don't need uniforms. So you must have an opinion and you must answer it. So maybe another question, something like this. Are uniforms really a good idea? Okay. And you must answer these questions. Yes, they are a good idea, or no, they are not a good idea. So an interesting question is one way to write a hook, strong and effective hook. Another way, guys, you are not speaking, but I hope everything is clear, everything is okay. Please stop me, and if you want to ask something or if you want to add anything.
No, I think it's easier,
All right.
as I said before.
Okay. Um, remember, the book is about, sorry, the Unit 5 is about technology. When I was thinking about this topic of technology, I thought I found a good hook with a question about technology. For example, if you had just one day to live, would you spend it with your online friends or real friends? This hook seems to focus on social media because it says online friends. And I think this is interesting as a question. Now, let's look at another way of writing a hook. A strong statement is a strong statement. So number one was an interesting question. Number two is a strong statement. Mm, Usually strong statements are controversial topics. A controversial topic that will create discussion. The word strong is important here. Not soft, not light, but a strong statement. For example, let's say uniforms, okay? The topic is uniforms. It's a strong topic about uniforms. Good hook about uniforms. Uniforms are the stupidest idea ever. And so that's a very strong statement. You can directly understand the writer's opinion. The writer hates uniforms. And then, of course, he must support this idea. Can you give me one more strong statement about uniforms or about another topic? Strong statement. A strong statement can include the word must, for example. Schools must, not schools, but let me say all schools. Because it's a strong, all schools must force uniforms for security reasons. This is another strong statement because it says all schools, not some schools, and it says must, and it uses the word force. So that's another strong statement. Let's focus on one more, number 3. You can use an interesting fact or statistics. Interesting fact or statistic. For example, imagine that the topic is phone use, let's say in Saudi Arabia, right? An interesting fact or statistic about it. So what is a hook? Saudi population is 35.5 million people as of today. And the number of mobile phone users was 29 million people back in 2019. These numbers, I think these are interesting. The population today, this is today's population of Saudi Arabia, 35.5 million. But in 2019, about 2 years ago, the number of users, mobile phone users, was 29 million. A lot of people. Right? So if you are writing an article or if you are writing an essay about, phone use and you have an opinion about it, maybe you can start with a hook like this, an interesting fact or statistics. Of course, you need to check some websites to find this kind of information. You need to do some research before. So we looked at 3 different ways. There are more later. Maybe we can add a few more ways to write an interesting hook. Okay, gentlemen, I think we should stop because it's your break time. So let me stop the